Hey everyone, so today I thought I'd look at making a header for a website. So we looked at using some custom graphic words to add some really nice style to a website, but the header is a really important part of the website because it's the first thing that people see when they load the page. They see the menu and then the picture all at the same time. So it's important that it actually stands out and that it makes a statement from your perspective. But getting the size right is actually a real pain in the backside. And sometimes you have problems with it stretching and going all over the place when you get that background area going. So what do we do? Well, just having a look here, this is the area of our background for the home page. Now I don't use sliders. There is a reason, and that is that sliders contain multiple images, and multiple images take longer to load. So one image loads relatively fast and can be compressed down, whereas multiple images is 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount of downloading, and that slows the page load, which then affects your SEO. So it affects how you rank. And also, when you think about it, a lot of people are using mobile phones these days, so you're looking for maximum speed. So I highly recommend that you only work with one image. So we can see this background image here. The guy standing against the wall, and if I click on it I can bring up some information about background style, and our image. I can actually go and look at that image, but I just brought the image up. There it is again. Brought the image up here. So this is the image that's actually in the background. Now one way to get this sometimes is you can actually right click on the picture and choose show image, but it doesn't always show up. So if you view page source, you can actually kind of track down the address of the image, and in my case this is the address of the image. So I brought the image up, and one of the great things about using Chrome is when you bring an image up like that, it'll often tell you the size of the image. So up the top here it tells me it's 1920 by 680. So that's the number of pixels for the width and the height of the actual image. And we know, looking at it here, that size works really well on this page. So if I'm going to replace this image, the best thing I can do is actually create an image of the same size that replaces it. So if I come into Canva, seeing as Canva is here, and I go create a design, custom direction, custom dimensions, 1920 by 680 pixels, px. Remember, you got inches, millimeters, centimeters. We work in pixels online. Create design. Hey presto, I've now got an area the same size as this. Obviously it looks smaller because we're working at a compressed size. It says down the bottom here 60%. So if I click this, it'll go out to full size. Now I have a couple options. One, I can use a template like this. That's great, where everything's done for me, or I can actually build one for myself. So let's just build one. It's not that hard. So the first thing is this has an image, and that's all that's in this one. Obviously we can do other things, but just an image, because in our template we actually have writing on top of this. So if I go into photos, and I'm just going to type brands and do a search, and there's lots and lots of pictures here. Now you'll notice this up here, I can filter. I can say I want horizontal and I want free ones, and now you notice it says free in the bottom of each corner. Okay, so if I choose this one and just drag it out, you'll see it sits on the page. Okay, but if I drag it like this, see, if I pull it across, if I keep going, it becomes like that. If I pull it back to the edge, it becomes the width. So now I've got a heading, a background laid out, and it's got a nice picture in it, and it fills that nicely. Now, if I don't like that, I can just grab a new one, just drag it across. Oh, look at that nice Jaguar one. But if we look at this one, you'll notice that it's kind of all on one side rather than the other, because your writing's sitting on the blank wall. So this is something to consider. If there's writing there like this, if you've got a blank background, it's actually better. You can't always do that. Sometimes you've got to use a wash over the top, but we can actually think about that when we're actually doing the design. So a lot of images, you can see that the image is centralized. If I do computer, here's one. Nope. Okay, like that. Now, if I double click on that, you'll notice now that you can see just along here there's like a little bit of edge. I want my Mac to show up more, so I can just move that down like that, then click done, and now I can actually see the top of my Mac, which is great. Okay. If I double click on this, I can actually grab this and pull it out a bit if I want to make it bigger. But let's face it, it doesn't look as good as that does. So this is a nice picture. Now, there's a couple of things to consider. We can just download this as a file, and we can bring the size down a bit by making it a JPEG. But what about this wash that's over it here? See, it's kind of washed out, but it's not washed out here. Okay, so you've got two choices. You can make the wash as part of the picture, or you can add it in on top, and that will depend on your website. So in here I can actually, you can see I've got a linear gradient over the top, and that linear gradient is actually that white wash. But we can do that in Canva in a similar sort of way. So one of the most common things to do is actually to add kind of like a tinting over the top of it. So let's go in here and we'll just grab a plain box, put that on top like that, and grab the handles, pull it out, pull it down. Now it's covered our whole picture. And then up top here you've got transparency. If I do this, see how I'm getting that wash? Now, if I go and change this to black, now you can see the true effect of that overlay. So we get that kind of layout, and that gives us the look that we're looking for. I'm just going to bring that out a little bit wider because we're missing the edge. Gives us that sort of grey look that goes in the background. So if we go here and go JPEG, because we want the smallest file size, size we want it the size we set it, quality 80% should be fine. Let's download that. Give it a name. I'm just going to drop it on my desktop so I can find it. And if I actually open this one up, I can go into tools and go adjust size. I can see that this is 95 kilobits. So that's the original picture. Let's have a look at this one. What have we got? 98 kilobits. So that's good. It's nice and compressed. It's quite small. That means it will load pretty fast. And that's what we're after. We want it as close to possible to 100 kilobits. So coming back to my site, I want to cancel out of that because I'm not changing that. I'm actually going to go in here, click on this, upload files, grab my banner and drop it in there. Click on it, full size, insert into post. There's my picture, go apply. And now I don't want that linear gradient because I've already got a gradient over the top. So if I click remove, you can see that now that linear gradient's gone. Now one thing I can do is I can click here, I can move that, you can see this little layout thing. So this is where like having the right size image actually helps, but I can move it around a little bit. It gives me the option here. Not all systems do, but most give you that option now. So if I do that and go save and refresh, now we've got the new heading there. Now obviously these colors don't work, do they? Because they're really hard to read. So if I just come in here and I change my options to make that white like that, okay, save. Now I'm going to get right whiting. So you can see that having that grey or black transparency over the top, the white shows on the white background of the computer. So this is really handy because otherwise the white would disappear. By having that wash across the top, it actually stands out. Now this text here is still hard to read, so I need to come in here and if I can make that, bright purple like that. If I want to, I can make it white as well. Which will make it stand out a little bit better. Okay, obviously if I increase the size of the font. Now, this is not the perfect picture for a background, obviously, but it just gives you an idea of how easy it is to come into Canva and actually make an image. As you can see, I can move that wash out the road. I can come back to my photos here, and I can choose something like this instead, and then bring my wash back down. And now I've kind of got a larger blank area here to put my writing on. So if I take that and go JPEG, download, and we'll give it a new name, banner 2, nice and easy. Come back to our website, click on that one, go into background style, change it, choose my new one, upload, bingo, new picture. I'm going to move it across a bit because I want that to show. Apply and save work. So here's our other one with the white and all sorts of colors. Here's my new one. See, just like that. It's that simple. So it gives you a lot of options. So I hope this helps you work out how to make a banner for your website, and you know, experiment a bit. Not every picture is suitable. Okay, this is where you know, you do pay a designer for this stuff because they have an eye for it. But if you think about, I've got words on this side, I want a picture on that side, well, you're going to get ahead. Now, don't forget, if you can't do this words over the top, you can always, while I take us one more step further, come in here and I can, you know, grab my words and put them over the top like so, and then make that my banner. Okay, so you can actually have your words on the banner. You can lay it out there. So if you can't do the overlay within your website and you've got to add the words to the banner, well, there it is, nice and simple. Hope you learned something. I'm Brad Howe. Give me a message if you need a hand with anything.